Welcome learners to this lesson of factorizing quadratic trinomials, where today we are going to be focusing on the practice and application questions. So let's practice that factorizing. We are going to simplify the following expressions or factorize the following expressions. We have there x squared plus 5x plus 6. So we are going to factorize that expression there. Remember, we learned two methods of factorizing. You can use whichever method that you are comfortable with. So I am going to use here expanding that middle term. So when we expand that middle term, I'm going to have the x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. So I've taken that middle term, which is the 5x, and I've expanded it to 2x plus 3x because 2x plus 3x is 5. Then what are we going to do here? We are going to group these terms so that in each group, so we're going to group it into two groups, and in each group we are going to take out a common factor. So let's look at what is the common factor in the first group. The first group has a common factor of x. And what we are left with in the brackets there would be x plus 2. And then in the second bracket, because we are adding those terms, in the second bracket, we are going to be taking out a common factor of 3. And when we take out a common factor of 3, we are left with x plus 2. Now, as you can see, that those brackets are common in this expression. So we are going to take them out as a common factor, and we are going to be left from each term the x plus the 3. And we have factorized that expression. Let's look at number 2. So when we look at the second one there, we can see that we have a common factor, which is that value of a. That is a common factor of 2. So when we take out a common factor of 2, we are left with x squared plus 9x plus 20. Now we look in the brackets and we can see that that is a trinomial. Remember, a trinomial, two brackets. Now I'm going to use that other method of trial and improvement, and that's how we're going to get those factors. I'm going to think about the factors, that's how we're going to get, those factors. I'm going to think about the factors of 20. And this is a positive 20. That means we can have 1 multiplied by 20 or negative 1 multiplied by negative 20. We also have 2 multiplied by 10. And in the same way, negative 2 multiplied by negative 10. We also have 4 multiplied by 5. And in the same way, negative 4 multiplied by negative 5. Now you need to choose the pair that's going to give you the middle term, which is the 9. So out of those factors there, we can see that the positive 4 and the positive 5 will give you the positive 9 when you add them. So that's the pair that we are going to use. In our brackets, we're going to have x in each bracket, and the numbers that are going to be there are the pair that we have chosen, or those factors that we have chosen. That is a positive 4 and a positive 5. Now, if you got that, then you are absolutely correct. Let's look at the next questions. We have there p squared plus 6p plus 8. So p squared plus 6p plus 8, we are going to factorize that. Again, we are going to open our two brackets, and then we are going to have p in each bracket, and for the numbers that must go into those brackets, we must think of the factors of a positive 8. Now, can you think of the pair that that is going to give you, a positive 6 when you add them? If you are thinking of a positive 2 with a positive 4, then you are absolutely correct. And that is how we factorize that trinomial. Let's look at number 4 quickly. So, looking at number 4, we have there a trinomial again, but we can see there is a number for the value of a. So we quickly check if that number is a common factor, and it is. So that number is a 4, and we can see that 4 is a common factor with all of them. So we are going to take out that common factor of 4, and we are left with k squared plus 7k plus 6. When we look in the brackets, that is a trinomial, so we are going to go further and factorize that trinomial there. we can use the other method of actually now expanding that middle term. So we have k squared, and when I expand that 7k, that is going to be a positive 1k with a positive 6k, and we have that 6 there. So we are going to group these terms into two groups, and in each of the groups we are going to take out a common factor. So in the first group there, the common factor is a k, and we are left with k plus 1 in the brackets. And then we are adding this to the second group where the common factor is a 6. And when we open a bracket there, after we've taken out the common factor, we are left with a k plus 1. Now we can take out that common bracket, so we still have the 4 outside, and then that common bracket is the k plus 1, and after we take out that common bracket, we are left with that k there, and we are left with that 6 that is being added there. And that's how we've simplified our term. Let's look at some more practice questions. We still have a trinomial of which we are going to factorize there. So how are we going to factorize there? Two brackets, and this time we have v squared minus 10v plus 21. Now our variable here is the v. So we are going to have v in each bracket, and then we are going to look for the factors of a positive 21 so that they can give us that negative 10. So can you think of the factors of a positive 21 that are going to give us that negative 10 when we add them? If you are thinking of a negative 7, or sorry, a minus 7 and a minus 3, then you are absolutely correct, because minus 7 minus 3 will give us a minus 10. Let's move on to number 6. So when we look at number 6 there, the first thing you need to notice there, that it is not in standard form. So the first thing you would need to do is to place it in standard form. That is t squared minus 9t plus 20. Remember, standard form means that we place it in descending order of exponents when we are looking at the variable, and that is the correct format. So what are we going to do there? We are going to now expand that middle term so that it gives us that other method of factorizing this quadratic trinomial. So we have t squared, and to expand that minus 9t, we are going to have a minus 5t minus 4t plus 20. We're going to group them. And when we group them, we take out a common factor with each. So the common factor with the first group is t. We are left there with a t minus 5. Then the second group is being subtracted there. What is the common factor there? That is a common factor of 4. And we are left with a t minus 5, because 20 divided by 4 is 5. So we are now having a common bracket that is the same, and that common bracket is that t minus 5. And then we have, when we take out the common factor there, we are left with the t, and we are also left with the minus 4. And that is how we factorized that expression. Let's quickly go to an ad break, and then when we come back, we'll look at those application questions.